We have seen that in a classification algorithm, the dependent variable takes a categorical value, and specifically in case of binary classification, our dependent variable takes two values, usually yes and no, or we can say 1 and 0s. So these are the two values which the dependent variable takes, and our predictions in this case, our predictions also take a value of 1 or 0. So we do not predict any number like in regression cases, we only predict either 1 or 0. So for example, if we are the bank example, then we will either predict 1, which means a customer will default, or we will predict 0, which means a customer will not default on his loans. So these are the only predictions we will be making in case of a classification algorithm. Now a few algorithms also predict probabilities. Algorithms also predict probabilities. In most cases it is the probability of being a 1. So it will predict the probability of the dependent variable being a 1. So since probabilities can only take values between 1s and 0s, you will get a number between 0 and 1. So in this particular example, we will see probability of a customer defaulting. So what is the probability of a customer defaulting on his loans? This is the output of a model. We will get this as a probability as a value between 0 and 1. Now how do we convert this probability to classes? So since our output has to be a class, so we are only allowed to predict 1s and 0s, because that's how we will measure whether we were correct in predictions or not. So we will have to convert the probabilities from the algorithm to 1s and 0s, or to the different classes that we have. So how do we do that? We usually take a threshold. We take a threshold value and we say whatever is above the threshold is a 1, and whatever is below the threshold is a 0. So for example, let's say you get a probability of dependent variable being 1 as let's say 60%. So 60.60 is the probability of dependent variable being a 1. So how do you convert this to 1s or 0s? Will this be a 1 or will this be a 0? So let us take a threshold of 0.5. So this is what we usually take. We take a threshold of 0.5, which is midpoint between 0 and 1. So we say whatever probability is above the threshold, we will say it's a 1. And whatever probability is below or equal to the threshold, we say it is a class 0. So in this case, this customer will default. Since he has a probability of 0.6 of defaulting, and we are comparing that with respect to 0.5, since this is higher than 0.5, we will say that this customer will most likely default. Similarly, if we have a customer whose probability of defaulting is 30%, then we would say that this customer will not default. So we will assign the class 0 to this customer. So this is how we convert a probability output of a classification algorithm into a class, so that we can compare it with the actual output. Now coming to how do we evaluate a classification model. So how do we evaluate a classification model? We prepare a two-dimensional table which has a very peculiar name to it. So let us see. So we first write the actual values on the left hand side. So actual values, what are the actual values a binary classification problem can take? It can take two values, 1s and 0s. So we write the actual values on the left hand side, and on the right hand side we write the predicted values. So what are the predictions we have made? We write those values on the right hand side. So remember, these predictions are class predictions. We do not write the probabilities here. We take the probabilities and comparing it with the threshold, we convert it to the respective classes, and then those classes is what we write here. So we will write the predicted class here. So predicted classes are also 1s and 0s. So thereby we prepare a two-dimensional table. So this is a two-dimensional table, and whatever counts we get, like for which of the records, for which of the observations was the actual value a 1, and we also predicted a 1. So we will count all such observations and we will give that number here. Similarly, all the observations which were actual 1 but we predicted them to be 0, we will mention that count here. Similarly, all the predictions which were actually a 0 but we predicted them 1, we will mention them here. And finally, all predictions which were 0, we too predicted 0 for them, we will mention that count here. So this table is known as a classification matrix. We call this a classification matrix or a confusion matrix. So this is a classification matrix or a confusion matrix. So let us see this with an example. I'll move to a spreadsheet and then we will see how do we do this. So here I have taken some actual values. These are the actual values given to us. So it's a binary class problem. These are the actual values given and this is the predicted probability. So what does our model predict? So remember, these predictions are coming from a model. So we have a classification model which may be of this shape. So assume that this is a classification model and here y can take two values, 0 or 1, or it can also take any values between them. It can give us a probability. So in this particular example, it is giving us a probability, a value between 0 and 1. And these are the independent variables that we have. So first we will have to convert the probabilities to a binary class so that we can prepare the confusion matrix. So how do we convert them? We will take a threshold of 0.5. So let us take a threshold of 0.5. So I'll take a threshold of 0.5 and I'll compare each of these probabilities with the threshold. So I'll use a if function in Excel to do that. So if this probability is greater than 0.5, I will assign it to be a 1, else I will assign it to be a 0. So 0.6 will be converted to a 1. So this is the function I'm using. I'm using the if function in Excel. So if after that you give a condition, in this case the condition is if this cell F4 is greater than 0.5, then after a comma you write what if the condition is true. So if the condition is true, I want the value to be 1, and again after a comma you write what if the condition is false. So if the condition is false, I want a 0. So this is what I have done now. Now I have to rewrite the same formula for all these remaining records also. So in Excel you can quickly drag them. I'll just drag it down. So the formula will be applied to all the corresponding cells. So you can confirm this by double clicking here. You will see it has already automatically selected the cell F14. So if this is greater than 0.5, it will be a 1 class, otherwise it will be a 0 class. So this is the predicted class we have. Now we can compute our confusion matrix. So let us see. So in a confusion matrix we have to give counts. So what count will come here? Here we will give the count of the actual ones and whatever we predicted to be a 1. So let us see how many counts do we have. So let me reduce the size of this Excel so that we can have it side by side. Okay. So actual zeros, actual ones and predicted ones. So I have an actual one here. I have, this is also predicted one, so this will be a count for me. This is also, I'll count this as well because it is an actual one and I have predicted a 1 here. So these two cells, 2, this is 3, this is an actual one but I have given out a 0 here, so I will not count this. So it's 3 so far. Then it's a 1 here but I have given 0, so I will not count this. So it's still 3 and I do not have any actual ones. So 3 is the count of the actual ones which are also predicted as ones. So this will have a count of 3. So I will write a 3 here. So 3 rows or 3 observations out of all are actual ones, and I have predicted ones for them as well. Similarly, I will count these others. So for how many records have I predicted a 0 but they were actually a 1? So let us see that now. So actual ones where I predicted a 0. So this is the actual one where I have predicted a 0. So count 1. This is the actual one where I have predicted 0. Count 2. So 2 counts I have where the observation was actual 1 but I predicted a 0. Now let's go to the next one, which is actual 0 but I predicted a 1. So actual 0 is this, but I have predicted 0, so I will not count this. Actual 0 but I have predicted 0, so I won't count this as well. This is actual 0 but I have predicted a 1, so 1 count here. And this is actual 0 and I have predicted 1, so 2 counts. A total of 2 counts I should get here. And finally the last one, which is actual 0 and I predicted a 0. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. So I have 4 counts of these. So this is how you prepare your confusion matrix. So the confusion matrix is prepared like this. Now if you count the total observations, it should match with the total observations in your data. So we have 5, 7 and 11. So there should be 11 rows in our data. Let us verify that. So it gives me a count of 11. So I have 11 rows. So this is correct. So this is how we can compute the confusion matrix. And from this confusion matrix, we decide how good or how bad is our model. So how do we decide that? So remember this cell, this is the actual one and I have predicted a 1. So for an example, these are the customers who default and I also predicted that they will default. So this is a good term for me. So higher the count here, better the model is. Similarly, look at this term. This is actual 0 and I have predicted a 0 for them. So this is also good for me. So this is also a good term. So I'll give a tick mark to them. Similarly, on the other side, the opposite diagonal, this is actually a 1 but I have predicted a 0. So this is an error for me. This is the error that the model is making. Similarly, this one, it is actually a 0 but I am predicting a 1. So this also is an error for me. So this is also an error for me. So how do we compute the accuracy now? Now we just count the total number of accurate predictions. So accuracy will be given by this 3, which is good term for me, and this 4 divided by total. So I can write the total, which is 11 here. So it will be 7 by 11. So this is my accuracy. If you want it as a percentage, you can multiply it by 100 and give a percentage here. So this is the accuracy percentage. Similarly, we can compute the error percentage also. So the error percentage will be given by, we can count the opposite diagonals now. So this time 2 is an error for me. So 2 plus this 2 divided by total, which is 11. So I will get 4 by 11 into 100%. So accuracy plus error, it should always equal to 1. So it should always equal to 1. So you can also calculate the error by using 1 minus accuracy. So both will give you the same answer. So this is how we compute the confusion matrix, and from the confusion matrix we determine how good is your model, so what's your accuracy, or how bad is your model, or what's your error.